This can't be happening. It's the finale of the 2025 Marble League, and heading into today, there were three main competitors for the championship. The Midnight Wisps, former 2018 champs, who have just made a massive overhaul to their roster and have found tremendous success. The Oceanics, who are led by a second-year phenom and bearing some resemblance to the Wisps. And then the Kobalts, a team that until this season was constantly viewed in the worst light possible in regards to Marble League performance. And the Kobalts are winning by a lot. Unless another team makes an unprecedented last-second comeback, the Kobalts will join the championship club. How on earth did this happen? The Kobalts finished a respectable 9th in 2016, and since then, they don't qualify. Literally. Before this season, there had been 8 Marble Leagues, and the Kobalts failed to qualify once. And it wasn't like they didn't have their chances. They came close a number of times. In 2017, they were the last team in heading into the final event, but they were bounced out after a poor performance from Cerulean and the Wisps and Quicksilvers overtaking them. The very next year, they came agonizingly close, missing out by a single point to the eventual championship-winning Midnight Wisps. The next year in 2019, they hit a new low, missing by a wide margin and being relegated in the showdown. However, they would win the showdown in the next season and put on a rather impressive showing in Marbula 1 Season 2, giving fans hope that they'd qualify in 2021. A good performance in Swing Wave was axed out by an 11th place in Funnels, and after a terrible performance in Relay, it seemed over. But in the Sand Rally, longtime captain Azor put together a great race, battling with the Pinkies and Chocolatiers for the win.
Oh, Pinkies hit off the wall. They get gobbled up by the teams behind him. It's a 2-marble race coming across the line. Photo finish. Oh my goodness, how did that end? Let's watch here. Pinkies. Contact across the line, and then it's a photo finish for second place. So Pinkies won the event, and it is officially by 1/100th of a second. Bon Bon from the Chocolatiers.
That photo finish for second kept them out of the Marble League. Painfully close. They bounced back with another showdown title and then performed the best they ever have in Marbula 1, gaining an overall podium. They headed back to quals with high hopes once again. They performed mediocrely in climbing, but in hurdles, the Kobalts got a chance to show off their new superstar. Royal finished second in hurdles, and the Kobalts move up to third with a 5-point cushion over the cutoff. A poor showing in balancing did not help, but they still held a 1-point edge over the Rojo Rollers. They needed a solid performance from Noman Triathlon, and they didn't get it. An 8th place finish kept them out once again by 1 point. But the Kobalts' woes weren't over, as they were relegated the following showdown due to Azor letting the team down in the final Sand Rally. After this dreadful season, Azor stepped down as captain and Royal was picked to lead the team. And honestly, if it weren't for Royal, they would have been relegated again. With one event to go, they were in 15th and 3 points back of the Purple Rockets. But in the finale, the Honey Dome, Royal charged to the front and took the win handily, keeping the Kobalts alive. But after Royal had a dreadful Marbula 1 Season 5, it was now Cerulean, the Season 5 individual runner-up, who was viewed as the Cobalt star heading into the 2024 qualifiers. Cerulean finished an impressive 10th out of 28 teams in the first event, Ice Dash, and after that was one of the Kobalts' best events, Halfpipe. An 8th place finish pushed them up to 9th out of 28 teams heading into day 2 of qualifiers. A great spot to qualify. Meepo and Gnome kept the positive momentum going in Snow Drag, finishing in 14th, a third straight top half finish. In 8th place, with 1 event to go and 10 points over the cutoff, Coach Sapphire picked Azor to compete in short track, and it couldn't have gone worse. A 24th place finish knocked the Kobalts out by, stop me if this sounds familiar, 1 point. After this dreadful collapse, Sapphire resigned as head coach, and the Kobalts began a search for a new one. Wouldn't it be nice if, say, one of the best teams in the sport just so happened to have fired their coach? It was a perfect storm, and with that, Smokey became the Kobalts coach. But Smokey's debut in that year's showdown wasn't much better, with the only bright spot being a gnome 5th place finish in short track. Heading into 2025, there was little reason to believe that this would be the year. The first event would be encouraging, though. The Kobalts finished a rather impressive 9th in one of their worst events historically, Relay, once again out of 28 teams. And the team kept that momentum going in a hit-or-miss event for them, block pushing. An 11th place finish moved them up to 8th at the halfway point. But in Swing Wave, the team fell back below the cutoff with a 21st place finish, eerily similar to the 2022 and 2024 collapse. But in the finale, the Kobalts would get a shot at one of their best events historically, the Sand Rally. Smokey faced an interesting choice. Who competes? Azor had been their sand marble for practically their entire history, but they clearly seem to have lost the speed that they once had. Cerulean had been their speed marble for the past couple seasons, and it seemed rather likely that they would get the nod. But Smokey made a choice that made many scratch their heads at the time. Meepo. Throughout much of their history, Meepo had been a dreadful individual competitor, including a 13th out of 16 place finish in the 2017 qualifiers in this very event. But they quietly put together some rather impressive showdown finishes in speed events since 2021, and Smokey gave them the vote of confidence to compete in the Sand Rally.
Streaking down toward the finish line, Oceanics win it. Crazy Cat's Eyes second, Wolfpack. Up there consistently through the race, they get third in front of the Pinkies. Solar Flares and Cobalts come through in the top 6.
That 6th place finish in the faster heat of the two was more than enough.
The final standings. Oceanics, Green Ducks, Savage Speeders, Mellow Yellow, Team Galactic Limers. Yes, it's the Cobalts. For the first time ever, the Cobalts will be competing in the Marble League. How many years have they been trying so many near misses?
The team didn't light the world on fire in the beginning, but with a 10th place in Swing Wave and Gnome finishing 6th in Funnels, it was a respectable start. That is, until it wasn't. Azor finished dead last in Hurdles, and the team finished 15th in Rodeo. The team fell from 8th overall, squarely in the middle, to 15th. Cerulean got them some momentum back with a 6th place finish in Sprint. But with this event, the Cobalts championship odds fell to an almost microscopic 0.61%. That is lower than any previous champion's lowest odds. Yes, lower than Mellow Yellow in 2021. Yes, lower than the O'Rangers in 2017. They would need to kick it into a new gear and do it now.
You have for the gold in the 5-meter relay, Mellow Yellow, Cobalts, Savage Speeders, and Team Momo. Mellow Yellow quick on the top lane. Momo trying to move up into second place. Not there yet. Speeders are well behind. Mellow Yellow will go wire to wire and win gold in 5-meter relay.
The Cobalts proved to have conquered the relay, as that silver medal got them up to 10th. But Meepo struggled badly in triathlon, and they fell back down to 12th overall. Next up was the Bocce, a new event to the Marble League. The Kobalts struggled in the first new event, but they crushed it in this one, scrappily clawing their way through the bracket in low-scoring matches. A masterclass against the Pinkies got them into the final, and although they lost it to the Balls of Chaos, this got them back up to the top half for the first time since Event 2. And in the next event, the Lasso Toss, they continued the momentum.
And oh yeah, that Team 15th, that's Momo, our provisional silver medalists. Excellent for the Kobalts. Their Captain Royal tosses Gnome 61.15 and into third.
That bronze medal moved them up to 5th overall. And next up was an event that they excelled in qualifiers, block pushing.
To the final, it's Blackjacks, Kobalts, Bumblebees, Team Galactic. Off they come. Blackjacks very slow out of the gate. It worked for the Kobalts. Will it work for the Blackjacks? It does!
3 straight medals is really rare, and that moved the Kobalts up to 4th, and within striking distance of the leading Mellow Yellow. For the first time ever, the Kobalts were being thrown into the Marble League Championship discussion. But they were not able to keep it up in the next 2 events. Azure finished last in Corn Maze, and the team finished 11th in Balancing. The Kobalts fell back to mid-pack with just 4 events to go. In one of their best events, Sand Moguls, they needed a marble to step up, and Cerulean would give them just that.
These teams will medal, one will not. Will it be Oceanics, Blackjacks, Pinkies, or Kobalts? For gold, in the Sand Moguls, Kobalts take the lead, Blackjacks go to the outside, and they will win gold. Kobalts take the silver, and Pinkies the bronze.
Another silver medal got the Kobalts up to 2nd place, just trailing the Oceanics entering Collision. And after the Oceanics failed to make it out of Group B, the door was flung wide open for the Kobalts.
Kobalts and Momo to decide the other half of who makes it to the final. Kobalts go sideways. They're flirting with one of the openings down on the bottom, but they keep all 5 on. What a run by Kobalts. All right, the final. It's Kobalts and Balls of Chaos, if you could believe it. Down they come. Balls of Chaos shoot to the sides. 3 of them off already. All 5 of them off. The Kobalts win their first ever gold medal.
Against all odds, the Kobalts had taken the lead in the standings with 2 events to go. Royal, the captain, got the elimination race, and while a 10th place finish isn't great, it was enough to expand the points lead slightly from 5 points to 7. Coach Smokey had a tough decision to make for the finale, Sand Rally. There's Cerulean, who is MVM eligible if they compete in this event and has been phenomenal in speed individuals. And then Meepo, who has been the team's Sand Rally specialist but struggled in triathlon earlier in the season. Smokey went with the latter, picking Meepo to compete in the most important event in team history by a mile. But before we dive into it, let's take a look at the other championship contenders and how they got to this point. Let's start with the closest team to the Kobalts, the Oceanics. They, too, had been perennial members of the showdown with the Kobalts over the past few years, but the team turned a corner after adding 2 new members in Siren and Nerid. With those 2 and Captain C leading the way, the team won qualifiers and burst out of the gate with 2 straight wins, including Ounce winning in their first ever main league event. They've cooled off since then, but they've still remained consistent, and they get to send their speed ace, Siren, to the finale. Siren won this event outright in qualifiers, and over the past few seasons has shown remarkable consistency, almost unheard of for a rookie. They are the marble that the Kobalts are most scared of. Then there's the Midnight Wisps, who have a championship to their name in 2018, but had stagnated since then. After 2024, they made a complete overhaul of their roster, only keeping Wispy and adding 4 new members. It's paid off big time. The new team qualified, albeit just barely, and they went on an incredible run in the first half. They medaled in 4 of the first 7 events and claimed the points lead at the end of that run. They fell off pretty badly for most of the second half, not putting up another above-average finish until event 15. But that was a win by Yvain in the elimination race, and that pushed them back into the mix in 3rd overall. The team, pretty perplexingly, has picked Twyla for the finale, and they'll need a big performance, but they're not out of it. The Orangers selecting Mandarin, the Pinkies selecting Pinky Toe, and Mellow Yellow selecting Yellow are all also in the mix, but they all likely need to win and for Meepo to struggle. The finale is set, 6 teams battling for 1 championship. And this brings us back to where we were at the start of the video.
A team with humble beginnings that started with 4 friends at a university studying chemistry. They have joined together, qualified this year, much like Blue Moon did after a long stretch of not qualifying. They've got a chance to win it. Mellow Yellow in 2nd, trying to fend off Team Momo. That is worth a bronze medal to them. Look at the lead for the Kobalts, however. Heading into the final stretch. They can feel it now. 1 turn to go. It might be once in a blue moon that you see a performance like that. From perennial relegation to Marble League champions, the Kobalts have done it.